Well, she's hit the nail right on the head, and by nail I mean a useless Labour MP. Well, in my opinion anyway, and I'm going to have to be a bit more specific, and that useless MP is David Lammy. So what's going on then? Well, says that Anne Widdecome blasts stupid David Lammy over Donald Trump attacks, and this should have come to Labour sooner, shouldn't it? That if someone's in a presidential race and there's two candidates, then one of them is going to win, and unfortunately for them, but fortunately for the rest of us, it's not the ones that Labour wanted. And Donald Trump, the quite a strong leader in my opinion, isn't, let's face it, probably going to be too happy with what David Lammy said. And therefore, maybe, just maybe, Keir Starmer might grow a huge set of balls and actually give David Lammy a good telling off. Or maybe, who knows, he could actually do what he told Boris Johnson to do umpteen times and actually sack people. But I'm guessing Keir Starmer wouldn't exactly do that. Oh, let's face it, what would David Lammy do next? Maybe, who knows, he could even take a leaf out of Camilla Harris's book, if this indeed is where she's now working, which unfortunately I'm guessing it isn't. But anyway, it says the Foreign Secretary had faced pressure in recent days for past remarks about the US President-elect, including calling him, wait for this, a neo-Nazi sympathising psychopath. I guess, someone else was probably using the Labour brain cell that day. Former Tory Minister, though, Anne Widdecome told GB News, I think first of all Lammy is stupid anyway, quite apart from the things he said about Trump. Certainly having a Foreign Secretary in place who is capable of coming up with those sort of judgments is very, very dangerous. I mean, you don't need abuse, and that is more than likely going to bite Labour in the bum unless Keir Starmer makes some sort of apology to Donald Trump, in my opinion. Actually, no, David Lammy, he needs to make an apology to Donald Trump. In fact, both of them need to make an apology to Donald Trump. Because let's face it, remember before sleepy Joe Biden took over, Donald Trump was very keen on doing a trade deal with us. And of course, Joe Biden kind of brushed that under the carpet a bit. But now that Donald Trump will be the next president, he can take it out of the carpet and start agreeing a deal with us. And perhaps all those Ramonas out there who won't just shut up about the fact that we have actually left the EU, they might start eating humble pie, especially when we'll be able to agree a deal with America. But she hasn't finished there. She says, so I don't think he's a good appointment anyway, but come on, you can't guarantee that anybody is still going to be there for 4 years. I mean, no Prime Minister can guarantee that. You don't know what's going to happen. Oh, does anyone think that might be a teeny weeny little bit of a warning for Keir Starmer there? Hopefully so. But anyway, she says he's a lawyer. You'd think he'd be a bit sharper than that. Well, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he is our Foreign Secretary, so you'd like to think the Foreign Secretary might have one or two brain cells going round there a bit. But anyway, Miss Widdecome suggested Reform leader Nigel Farage could act as a bridge between the Labour government and Mr Trump, who he is friends with. And yeah, actually, that would be a really good idea, wouldn't it? I mean, he could be the UK ambassador. Although, let's face it, Keir Starmer wouldn't really like the thought of doing that, because no doubt, and Keir Starmer would probably think that would be giving Nigel Farage a bit of power, even though, in my opinion, he would be the best man for the job. But anyway, but she did say, though, it should be an unofficial role rather than being the UK's ambassador to the US. She said, I think Starmer could use him very usefully behind the scenes. I don't think he should have a formal role like an ambassador. He's got his role. He's the leader of Reform. That's a very good point, actually, because let's face it, if he was the ambassador, which as far as I'm aware Labour could make him, if they indeed wanted to, if he agrees obviously, I'm guessing that would mean he wouldn't be able to be the leader of Reform, which obviously at the minute Nigel Farage is doing a very good job with. Anyway, she says he's got his role, he's the leader of Reform, he's an MP for Clacton. This is what I think his main role should be. But because he does have an excellent relationship with Donald Trump, Starmer would be a fool not to tap into that. But I don't think you'll find that Keir is going to be terribly keen. Because, yes, obviously, Keir Starmer, in my opinion, does have his brains up his bum. But anyway, does say here that Sir Keir Starmer was left scrambling to build bridges with Mr Trump after his stunning US election victory. Mr Lammy is one of a series of senior Labour politicians who have been critical of the Republican in the past, and the former Foreign Secretary yesterday dismissed his previous comments as old news in an interview with the BBC newscast. Well, I'm guessing he would say that, rather than, I'm sorry Donald, but I'm a bit of a penis. That's what David Lammy should have said, in my opinion.